Welcome back. Taking your phone calls on the Borders and Borders hotline. 412-575-2600 is the number. Also answering your tweets at Josh Taylor HD. Josh Taylor, Gene Collier from the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette joining me. Gene, let's talk a little bit about this first preseason game tomorrow night, Steelers and Giants. Now, there's a lot that probably gets thrown out the window with the first preseason game. The thing that stands
second, third, and fourth.
the second, third, and fourth. The thing that probably stands out the most is the rookie Josh Dobbs, fourth-round pick, is going to run with the first team offense tomorrow night. No Ben Roethlisberger, no Landry Jones. Jones has been injured, so it is Josh Dobbs. I asked this question last night to Ron Cook. I asked you the same question. What are you looking to see out of Josh Dobbs tomorrow night?
From Josh Dobbs is I want to see how he handles pre-snap reads against an opponent. He's done it really well at camp, and that's the most really smart guy. He's an aerospace engineering guy.
Literally a rocket scientist.
Literally a rocket scientist. Not yet, but it's only because he hasn't gotten around to it yet.
Right.
So from what I could see at camp, I mean, he looks like a quarterback who has good recognition of what he's seeing, and he can get the ball there most times. He doesn't have an arm like Ben, but who does, other than two of us
Very few,
here, of course.
Very few guys.
So I just want to see if that continues. That he looks like he knows what he's doing, and see how fast the ball comes out. He's one of those guys where, sometimes the ball comes out really, really fast, really sharp, and sometimes it looks like he has a little bit of a loop in his delivery. But yeah, I'm very interested in Josh Dobbs, but not much else really. He is running with the first team, but the first team does not include Antonio Brown or LeVeon Bell or Martavis Bryant, or Alejandro Villanueva. I mean, it's half the first team really.
Now, on a Steelers preseason note, we have Adam who asks, with the injury to James Conner and LeVeon Bell still out, Fitzgerald Toussaint is the starter tomorrow night. Do you think they will sign anyone else in free agency with any possible higher skill? My answer would be, who's still available, Gene, that might have higher skill?
Well, I don't know. They have a third-round pick there. Third-round picks are usually drafted to start. They really like Niles Davis.
They do.
They're, satisfied with Toussaint. I guess what I'm saying is no. I don't think they will.
Well, we're talking about the fact that this is also, the second week or the third week of training camp. This is not like we're going into the third week of the regular season. If you're going into the third week of the regular season, you don't have your top two guys, then you start looking at the waiver wire, looking at free agency. When you're in camp and knowing that the injury to Conner is minor, knowing that Le'Veon Bell is eventually going to join the team, I don't think you worry about that now because you will have both of those guys for the regular season. If you lose them in the regular season, then you have a different problem. But like you mentioned, they seem to like Niles Davis. I know they're familiar with Fitzgerald Toussaint. I don't know how many running backs are out there right now that you look at and say, this is a guy that can come in and actually provide you some depth to the running back position that doesn't already have a job, or as far as having higher skill, like Adam pointed out. Let's go to the phone lines. We'll start with Jim in Cranberry. Jim, you're on the Nightly Sports Call.
Hey, how you guys?
Good, how are you?
Hey, I wanted to comment about the CTE and the football.
Okay.
I kind of have an issue with, if it is true and they have enough evidence, just hear me out and I'll hang up. If it is true and they have enough evidence and all these players, the Dick the older players in the league didn't know about this, even the Tom Bradys and, players that, the league might have kept this from, they have a real issue. And my other point is, and I'm not comparing high school football to professional or anything, but I played till I was 20, a little bit into college, and I'm 37. We had 2-a-days every day, 3-a-days here and there. Played both ways in high school, blah, blah, blah. I mean, how many hits to the head? And there's a lot of people in this country who's played a lot of football, not just the NFL. So my conclusion, it's either a cover-up or, it's a scare tactic, because I'm leaning more towards the cover-ups. Wanted to hear what you guys had to say.
Well, there are some people that agree with you that it's a cover-up, which is the reason why they are knee-deep in a lawsuit right now, for lack of a better description. There are some lawyers out there that believe, and some plaintiffs out there that believe, that this was information that was hidden from them. And if you've watched certain cable channels at certain times of night, Gene, I don't know about you, I tend to stay up pretty late at night after I get off work just to wind down, but I'll see certain commercials on certain cable channels, and they'll ask you, hey, have you played professional football? Were you a practice squad guy? Did you play in the CFL? Because you're still trying to add other players to a class action suit of guys that have played professional football. So there's some meat on that bone, Gene.
Oh, absolutely, and they've already paid out. What was the original award to hundreds of players? None of that happened because they didn't do anything wrong. I can assure you that. So CTE is real. Not everybody understands it yet, and the NFL is right to point out that that science is in its infancy. However, as it grows, I don't think it's going to make the league look better.
I would agree with that. And there was a debate during the playoffs about the concussion rules now and the concussion protocols and everything, and whether or not doctors and the opinions of doctors were really the driving force. I like to think it was the opinions of lawyers, especially when you have a lawyer who's the commissioner of your league. That kind of stands out to me. Going back to the phone lines, let's go to Tom in Marionville. Tom, you're on the Nightly Sports Call.
Hi, how you guys doing tonight?
Good, how are you?
Good.
Good. I wanted to say something, and I'll hang up real quick.
All right.
Take all the time you want. We're in no
All right,
hurry.
all right, gentlemen. This Le'Veon Bell thing. He is probably one of the most talented football players, running backs in the league. I'll guarantee you that. But I think this holdout is really going to. This may turn out bad because if he holds out too long, he may come into camp not in very good shape. He may get hurt. Now, what I'm thinking is the Steelers are so talented, and it's a team thing. The Steelers can win a Super Bowl with or without Le'Veon Bell, but Le'Veon Bell can't win a Super Bowl without the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I'm going to let it go then.
You're right about that.
3 things. Good call, but 3 things. One is kind of
Make it
technical.
4, really.
It's not really a holdout as much as it is him not reporting to camp because he already has a contract. He just has to show up and sign it. So it's not really a holdout, per se.
What's thing 2?
Thing 2, not Dr. Seuss related. Thing 2, I kind of forget. I had too many points. The second thing, if we really believed that the Steelers could win a Super Bowl without Le'Veon Bell, then the last 4 years probably go a lot differently, especially last season. I will agree that Le'Veon Bell is one of the most talented running backs in the league. There's a top percentile, a top maybe 5th percentile, and he's in that. There's no debating that for me. I really wish I remembered what my third point was. But, starting with just those things, there is an impact that Le'Veon Bell has. I made this analogy, Gene, earlier on my radio show, Sunday morning, 7 to 11, 93.7 FM.
Yeah.
But I talked about how Le'Veon Bell is that one person in the office at work that can do 4 or 5 different people's jobs. And when that one person's not there, the office falls apart. That's really what it is with Le'Veon Bell. He runs the ball well. He actually is pretty much another receiver there. He's good in pass protection. He does a lot of things well. So when you don't have that there and you have to have another person fill this job, another person fill this job, another person fill that job, it stretches your roster thin. So yes, him not being there affects the offense. But to the argument, I remember what my third point is, to the argument of if he doesn't come into training camp, he can get hurt. There are people getting hurt literally on every team in training camp right now. So he can get hurt being in training camp, including his own teammates who are also nursing injuries. So it's kind of hard to just say, well, if he doesn't show up, he can get hurt. Because there's guys getting hurt now in training camp. In the meantime, I've taken up way too much time, and poor Gene is sitting here waiting. We have to take a break. So, Gene, I promise I will let you talk more when we come back. Deal?
Don't. Fine. I'm good.
All right, we'll be right back.